Tonight, we are by the banks of the Mississippi River in St. Louis, Missouri. Busch Stadium, the site for Game 1 of this weekend series as the Pirates visit the first place St. Louis Cardinals. Hi again, everyone, with John Wehner. I'm Tim Neverett. Robbie Mikowski joins us shortly. A.J. Burnett has the ball tonight for the Pirates. The last time he pitched here, it was a complete game win for him while with the Phillies. He hopes to repeat that feat tonight, and if he does, he'll have to do it against a tough lineup.
Yeah, these Cardinals can hit, and they can hit at home, but A.J. could still pitch. 4 great starts. He's only allowed a total of 5 earned runs in those 4 starts. Unfortunately, not enough run support. He's 0-1, but he still has that sinker with the good run and the curveball, the swing and miss curveball. Both of these pitches are moving all over the place. He's throwing them for strikes, and he has been outstanding.
Let's take a look at our Barrel Automotive League leaders stat. Pitching this season for the Pirates, second in ERA, second in opponent OPS, first in ground ball percentage.
Both of these teams can pitch. They're deep. They got guys that can come up in the minor leagues, but the starting rotation is the strength of both of these clubs. You know, both of these teams are going to battle it out until the end. It's going to be the Cardinals and the Pirates.
You mentioned that tough lineup, the 2 through 5 hitters. They've got 3 Matts and a Johnny who can flat out hit.
They are crushing the ball in this homestand. They've been home for, although will be home for a total of 11 days. Matt all hit over 400 the first 6-7 games of this homestand, and Peralta swinging it well too. They don't hit a lot of home runs, but they get their extra base hits and they hit in the clutch.
So the Cardinals with some offense. The Pirates looking for more offense out of Andrew McCutchen. He had a very tough month of April. He hopes the month of May gets him returning to form. Finished up the Cubs series strong. He hopes to start this St. Louis series strong as well. We'll take a look at Kutch when we come back. McCutchen hoping to spark the Pirates offense here in this important three-game series to start the month of May. He struggled through April, John, but his last game in Chicago, things started to look a little better.
You know, it's so bizarre when Andrew struggles. He is so good. His mechanics are so great that you don't expect him to struggle very long. And so it was nice to see him swinging the bat a little bit better. Had a couple good at-bats in Arizona. Carried it over into Chicago. Probably could have had a couple home runs. The wing held the ball up. Running well also. Looks very healthy. You know, the legs are working. He's been flying around the bases, going first to third, scoring on base hits and beating out infield hits. Got his 1000th hit of his career the other night, too. McCutchen's back.
Andrew McCutchen, a T-Mobile game changer. Take a look at what he has done throughout his career. Andrew, a lot of success. 33rd player in team history to collect 1,000 hits last 3 seasons. He's been over 300, 400 in on-base percentage, 500 in slugging. 194 in the month of April, second lowest month in terms of batting average for his career over his 7 seasons with the Buccos. For every run the Pirates scored during this 3-game series against the Cardinals, fans will receive $1 off the purchase price of outfield box and lower outfield box seats for the homestand against the Reds and Cards at PNC Park this Tuesday through Sunday. Tickets will be available for purchase 30 minutes after Sunday's game at pirates.com/howmanyruns or Monday at the PNC Park ticket windows. Pirates and the Cardinals, game 1, A.J. Burnett against Lance Lynn. The Bucs have had some success against Lance Lynn in the past. Will they repeat the feat tonight? Stand by. We're counting it down to the first pitch from St. Louis. Pirates fans taking over Cardinal Nation. Warming up in the pen right now is right-hander Lance Lynn. He makes the start tonight in the Pirates and Cardinals' first meeting. Took the loss Sunday, his last outing against the Brewers.
Yeah, got roughed up a little bit. 6 earned runs, 5 innings. He has been throwing a lot of 13, and yeah, you know what you're going to get from Lance Lynn. He's going to come at you with a fastball and a cutter and an occasional curveball.
He's thrown over 100 pitches in each of his 4 starts against the Pirates last season. Let's see what the Buccos can do against him tonight as A.J. Burnett will counter. Let's send you back to Pittsburgh. Rob King is standing by with a State Farm game break.
when it gets dark. On the North Shore where the flags fly high, and all around the burg with a glass to the sky. We came here to win for our city, lay it all on the line. Are you with me? Waited 5 days for the week to end. Let it all out, come on, join your friends. Friday Night Rocks, yeah, it's finally here. Give us something to cheer for, you know it. Friday Night Rocks, gonna bring us a win. Get the W, we came to own it. Friday Night Rocks, never a better fight than a Friday night in the moment. Friday Night Rocks, come on, blast the cannons off.
Friday Night Rocks here at Busch Stadium. John Jay, the center fielder for the Cardinals, heading out to his position. He's always been a tough out for the Pirates. Take a look at the Toyota starting lineup for the Bucs. Gregory Polanco in the leadoff spot tonight. Josh Harrison will hit number 2. McCutcheon in his customary third spot. Neil Walker against Lance Lynn, hitting .323, 10 out of 31, 6 extra base hits. Starling Marte batting 5th. Pedro Alvarez, Francisco Cervelli, Jordy Mercer hit 8th. And the pitcher, A.J. Burnett, bats 9th against the Cardinal right-hander.
Mentioned a moment ago, Lance Lynn, a lot of fastballs. He has a heavy sinking fastball, and he also cuts it. Had a slider a year ago. He's gone away from it. No more sliders, just curveball, splitter, cutter. Key for him usually is to get ahead in the count. Once he falls behind, you're going to see fastballs, and the Pirates like fastballs. So hopefully they can get ahead in the count, get some favorable counts, and start knocking Lance Lynn around a bit.
Defensively for the Cardinals, presented by Honda. In the outfield left to right, Matt Holliday, John Jay, and Jason Hayward, the former Atlanta Brave. Carpenter, Peralta, Wong, and Adams around the infield with Molina doing the catching. Gregory Polanco set to lead off. You like this, Rock, with Polanco leading off, Harrison batting second?
I do. I do. Just for the simple fact that I think Jay Hayes just a two-hole hitter. I think he's a guy that handles the bat and can move the ball around and hit and run. And he's an aggressive hitter as well. You would expect him to get better pitches hitting behind Polanco and in front of McCutcheon. Gregory, obviously, with that good speed, obviously he gets on. He's a threat to get into scoring position for Josh Harrison, who was the best in the NL in those situations.
This pitch is in for a strike, and we're underway from Busch Stadium. Lance Lynn, an 0-1 count on Polanco. It's outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
One thing, again, about Gregory, only 3 walks. There was a lot of talk before his call up a year ago how patient he was at the plate. We really haven't seen Gregory draw too many walks in his brief major league career.
Talking to Clint Hurdle before the game, he mentioned that last year Polanco took the first pitch of an at-bat 91% of the time. And they've changed his approach this year. He has swung a little bit more often at the first pitch of the at-bat. Maybe that has something to do with the reduced walks. But you're right. Ball and 2 strikes the count. And Polanco strikes out. 1 gone for the Pirates in the top half of the first.
Once again, the fastball, good location. You see those 4 pitches, none of them inside the box, either on the edges of the box or outside of it. Another thing that makes him effective, even though he throws so many fastballs. Locates it well.
Josh Harrison starts the night hitting .213. It's a breaking ball for a strike. Pirates are seeing more breaking balls this year. Last year they saw a lot of fastballs. Yeah, they were also fastballs that were drilled. Peralta will throw to first and retire Harrison. There's 2 gone in the top half of the first inning.
Peralta is a really good, solid defensive shortstop. For a big guy, really makes some plays and makes it look easy.
Rivers Casino tips to win for tonight.
Well, we've done it before. We've had some success against Lance Lynn, so maybe the Pirates can Lance Lynn. get to him a little bit and contain the Mats. The Mats have been very impressive. Carpenter, Holiday, Adams, they are swinging the bat extremely well right now. And, you know, if they continue to get on base and drive in runs, it could be a long night and perhaps a long series.
2 balls, no strikes to McCutchen. You spent all day thinking of that Lance Lynn one, didn't you?
That was a tough one. I'm sure that's never been used before.
That was something that probably brought, you know, you could see the steam coming out of your ears. Wheels were turning.
A little lazy today.
McCutchen up in the air to center field and deep, but the ballpark's going to hold it. A 9-pitch top of the first for Lance Lynn. No score. Cardinals coming to bat. The plate for the first time tonight. And Mike Matheny's Honda lineup. John Jay will lead off. Matt Carpenter will bat second. He leads Major League Baseball with 13 doubles through his first 21 games. And Holiday, Adams, Peralta, Jason Hayward and Wright. Molina catching. Colton Wong will bat 8. Lance Lynn bats 9. And the right-hander A.J. Burnett needs some run support. He's had 4 runs of support in his previous 4 starts while he's been on the mound.
They've been dandies, all 4 of those starts. Just 5 earned runs allowed in those 25 innings of work. The ERA under 2. Opponents hitting just .258, keeping it in the ballpark. Just the 1 home run. Boy, the Pirates as a team done a terrific job of doing that.
John Jay, the batter, leading off for St. Louis, takes a ball down and in. Sits safely in back-to-back games. Batted leadoff twice in the 4-game series against Philadelphia. Just concluded here. Ground ball into the Walker glove and the throw off the glove of Burnett. And John Jay is aboard to lead off the bottom of the first.
Well, that's a tough play. Pedro can't get there and almost got a glove to it. Neal able to dive, make the play, but to get up and fire it, looked like AJ maybe turned his head to find the base just before the ball got to him. I mean, that's a pretty good effort from Neil Walker, being able to come up and throwing in a hurry over that first base bag. As you'll see, as this ball gets to AJ, looks down just a little bit early.
Here is Matt Carpenter. Carpenter finds his way on base a lot. Takes the ball upstairs. .372. 3 homers, 14 runs batted in. We mentioned the 13 doubles already. Leads the National League in that category. Go to first base, and like Jay might have been leaning. Carpenter scored 3 runs yesterday against the Phillies. As the Cardinals ended up taking 3 out of 4 from the Phils. 1-0 pitch. Fouled off down the left side.
Just a tough out is Matt Carpenter. Pretty good eye. Doesn't chase a lot. Uses the whole field.
Stretched by Burnett. 1-1 pitch coming. Throw to first, and getting back there is Jay. Cardinals 15-6. Look at where he was a year ago. 110 points shy of where he is right now. One. There goes Jay. Throw down by Cervelli, and that is in time to get him. A bullet from Cervelli to retire John Jay, and there's one out.
A bullet, a quick release, and throwing it to the right field side of second base is always important as well, as that throw goes right into the runner, John Jay. And for a leadoff guy and a center fielder, Jay does not run very often, but we all know AJ can be deliberate to the plate, so they're going to take their chances, but Cervelli guns them down.
2-1 pitch. Takes its edge, 3-1. And the Cardinals do not run nearly as much as what we just saw with the Cubs.
No.
But they'll probably try to do some during this series, certainly tonight, as we've just seen. 3-1 delivery. And that's a strike. And that fills up the count at 3-2. Burnett 9-6 in his career against St. Louis. 2 complete games and 18 regular season starts against him. Payoff pitch is hit in the air to center field. 2 steps over to his right is McCutchen. 2 down.
Big turn of events here. Leading off this bottom of the first inning. Jay gets on. And AJ falls behind Carpenter, but fortunately for the caught stealing. The line out to touch. 2 quick outs.
I think when Pirates fans think of AJ pitching here in St. Louis, they say, wow, he struggles here. He just had 2 bad games.
Yeah.
One in a horrendous game. And his ERA against the Cardinals, considering that, still 5.79. And 8 regular season starts here at Busch Stadium. He's got a winning record here, 4-3. Holiday takes ball 1. And the performance he put on last year, June 20th, while with the Phillies, he just stymied the Cardinals, twirling a complete game. 2-0.
AJ, for the most part, likes to pitch to the glove side of the plate, into lefties, away to righties. Doesn't throw inside the righties very often.
2-0, shot foul out of play. The second deck on the right field side.
Yeah, I think if you'd ask Matt Holliday, he'd say he likes the ball away from him. He likes to drive the ball the other way.
Especially against the Pirates.
Yeah.
We see him hit to right field, perhaps more than against any other team. There, the 2-1. Fouled off to the right. Count is even, 2-2.
Good late life on the fastball from AJ at 92 miles per hour.
So that 29% of the balls hit to the outfield go to right.
Not too many to left field.
2-2 pitch. Strike 3 call. Got him. No runs a hit. That's it. We're through 1. No score in St. Louis.
brought to you by Toyota. Toyota helps you get the most out of your drive. Just ask a friend who drives one. Toyota, let's go places. By Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. And by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks.
Back at Busch Stadium in St. Louis with John Wehner. I'm Tim Neverett. No score, top of the second inning. Neil Walker will lead off for the Bucks against Lance Lynn. Walker hitting .288. Takes outside. He gave you the numbers a little early on about Walker and Lynn and what Neil has done against him. Been pretty successful. 10 for 31. Drills this one foul and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. And of the 10 hits that Walker has against Lynn, 2 of them are home runs.
I think one of the craziest things is the success that Lynn has had against Andrew McCutcheon.
1-2.
Andrew, who is a great fastball hitter, and again, Lynn throws a lot of fastballs. He's 5 for 36 off the Cardinal right-hander.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Neil. Neil is hit safely in 11 of his last 12 ball games. A 10-game hitting streak snapped in Chicago. Then came back the next day and got another hit. Now there's a full count at 3-2. Balls, 2 strikes. The wind of the pitch from Lynn. And Walker hits this one in the air to left field. Playable for Holiday. Shuffles under it. And there's 1 gone for the Pirates in the second inning. It's a Central Division showdown at PNC Park next Friday as the Bucks battle the Cards at 7:05. It's also a free shirt Friday. First 20,000 get a free Pirates t-shirt courtesy of Milan. For tickets, go to pirates.com/free shirt Friday. Marte, 247. Team leading 6 home runs and 17 RBIs.
Everybody knows the book on Marte. Another good fastball hitter. Lynn changing it up on him, throws the first pitch curveball.
That one low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Marte right now sharing the National League lead in home runs among outfielders with San Diego's Justin Upton. And Miami's Giancarlo Stanton. Ball and 2 strikes to Marte. It'll be interesting as we watch Lance Lynn progress throughout his outing how many first ball strikes he gets. He normally doesn't throw a lot of first ball strikes.
Yep, and you know, he struggles when he's behind the count like most pitchers. It's a big difference throwing strike 1 compared to ball 1.
2-2. Marte to right field, sharply hit, but Hayward is there to make a running catch.
Inside out swing from Marte, didn't get all of it. That's slicing away from Hayward and those big long legs and long strides. And reach out toward the second out.
Here's Pedro. Alvarez with 499 hits. His career. Take strike 1 again. Another first pitch strike from Lance Lynn. Better than 47% of the time he will not throw a first pitch strike. Pedro in the hole, 0-2. Balls, 2 strikes to Alvarez. Lynn in the driver's seat right now. Pedro knocks this one foul.
Borderline pitch on that outside edge. Pedro. He's been able to get out there and reach that pitch more so early this year. Covering that corner plus some.
Lynn's 1-2. Pedro bounces it to the right side. Adams backing up. He'll toss to Lynn. And the Pirates gone in order in the second. 2-3 go the Buccos.
Cardinals. I'm Robbie and Smikowski. He was on this stage 60 years ago when future pitchers of America suddenly got better. Happy 60th birthday, Ray Sears. There's his wife, Vicky, in the blue shirt, and their three sons, Ray, Robbie, and Ryan, who flew up from St. Petersburg to hang out with Dad yesterday on the off day. Now, get this. The plan was to go up into the arch together as a family, but Ray and Heights, let's just say they don't exactly mix. So he said for photos at the base, lunch, and dinner together. A big family afternoons. We get a ground ball from Pedro, underhand flip to A.J. Burnett for the first out. And Tim and John, it was a fantastic day. He said no thanks, wasn't going to go in the arch, but he hung out down below and had a great day with the family.
And it was a nice surprise. He knew that Vicky was coming in, but he didn't know the for the second time.
I can't believe that he's 60 years old. He just doesn't look it. He looks so much younger, but Ray, one of the best. Good man. Great pitching coach.
Works hard. One out as Matt Adams grounded out. Now Johnny Peralta, the shortstop, up. So part of that tough 2 through 5 that the Cardinals run out there. Hit 316, pair of home runs, and 12 runs knocked in. 0-1 pitch to Peralta. 1 ball, 1 strike. You know, a couple of years ago, the Cardinals really needed some solidification at that shortstop position. For a while, it was shortstop by committee for a number of years. They signed Peralta to a 4-year deal and brought his bat to work with him as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising. Every time we see these Cardinals play, it's surprising how athletic he is, how good he is at the shortstop position, and nothing flashy, just all ho-hum, makes all the plays, covers some ground.
2 is inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 13th season in the big leagues. 13 years, 268's pretty respectable.
Well, 179 home runs too for a shortstop.
2-2, just got a piece of it and fouled it back.
A bit of a late swing, but a good job of wasting it. But he's solid. He's a bigger guy. One of the bigger shortstops in baseball.
He got a day off yesterday. Pete Kozma started at short. Gave Peralta a rest, so he's back in the lineup tonight. It's outside. The count now full 3-2. Down, base is empty. Bottom of the second. Payoff pitch is right there for a called third strike. Second punch out for Burnett.
Peralta didn't like the call. AJ has the late tail, the late run on his fastball. It starts out off the plate and it catches that outside corner. That's just a perfect pitch in a perfect location.
AJ needs 4 more strikeouts to tie Sandy Koufax for 42nd all time. He's just 4 away now. He has 2,392 career strikeouts. Delivers a strike to the right fielder Jason Hayward.
It's pretty select company.
He's been grounded up the first base side. Foul for strike 2.
For a guy, continue. I marvel at how he could continue to throw 200 innings. Takes the ball every 5th day. The stuff's the same from his first to his last start.
Ball 2 strikes now to Hayward. Oh, he's got a rubber arm.
He does have a rubber arm.
Not a lot of guys get those. 1-2. That's 2-2.
Well, what'll be interesting is if he continues to pitch this well throughout the year. Guys don't walk away from the game when they're pitching, as well as AJ's been pitching.
A little bit high. 3-2.
He says that he's done at the end of the year, but he sits there with double digits in wins and an ERA around 3. He may change his mind once again.
Payoff pitch to Hayward. Walked it. Runner on, 2 out. Yadier Molina will be the hitter. The last 5 years, he's been putting up the innings. Over 200 innings twice, nearly 200 innings 4 times. And last year, first time in recent memory that he did not have double digits in wins. Philadelphia last year. With the first, and the pitch to Molina is up and in. A running situation for Hayward. Doesn't have a stolen base this year. By the way, when Cervelli tossed out John Jay in the first inning, that gave the Pirates 10 caught stealings, which is the National League best. There goes Hayward, and this throw down is not in time. Stolen base number 2 for Hayward.
Cervelli's a bit frustrated, but huge jump for Hayward. By the time Cervelli gets the ball, and Hayward's already a little more than halfway to second base.
One, and Molina in the air right. Gregory Polanco. And that's it. No runs, 1 left. We'll go to the 3rd. One of the plays of the week on Friday Night Rocks, and from St. Louis. Top of the third, no score. And Francisco Cervelli will lead off for the Pirates. Cervelli, Mercer, Burnett. And Lynn delivers a strike. So far, Lynn has faced 6 hitters over the first 2 innings. Lynn over 4 starts last year with the Pirates, rather against the Pirates. With the Cardinals, went 1-1. And the Cardinals in his starts last year went 2-2. Ball 2 strikes to Francisco.
The ball just gets on the hitter more than quicker than they expected. That was just 89 miles per hour, that fastball. Sneaky, late movement.
And he strikes out Cervelli. Second strikeout for Lance Lynn.
This one more of a 4-seamer. Straighter, outside edge, 92.
Straight as an arrow, too.
That one, yeah.
Any movement on it. Here's Jordy. Get off the interstate. Takes a strike. 197 is average. Finds himself behind in the count. 0-2.
You would think that, for the Pirates, it's a welcome sight to see a guy like Lance Lynn. As often, especially this road trip, the amount of breaking balls and changeups they've seen. Arizona, it was one after another. Every guy they faced threw a ton of changeups.
Fastball not overpowering, a little more sneaky.
Yeah, and stays pretty compact. Gets that arm up around his ear, short arms it a little bit.
1-2.
Never really had a great explanation for why some guys that might only throw 89, 90, their fastball looks so much harder than a guy throwing 95 or 96. And, certain guys, you just pick the ball up a little bit sooner, track it, easier to pick up spin, speed. And there's others that just somehow sneak it by.
Jordy down on strikes. Lance Lynn has retired 8 straight to start the game. Now he'll face AJ.
Off the plate a bit inside. Jordy couldn't fight it off. That one had a little more movement to it. Running in off the inside edge.
That takes a strike. Well, we knew we'd see some pitching tonight with the top 2 pitching staffs in the National League going at it. AJ 1 for 7 on the season. He's in the hole 0-2. Lynn's 0-2 pitch. Just outside.
I think all these Cardinals pitchers, Lynn, that's a cutter he threw there to AJ. After pitching with Wainwright, you figure they'd all end up with cutters sooner or later.
Lance Lynn strikes out the side.
Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Malibu and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Here's our Day Automotive this day in Pirates history. This day, 1960, the Pirates beat the Reds 13-2. Their 9th straight win and longest win streak in 15 years. Roberto Clemente hit a first-inning grand slam. Later, Bill Mazeroski hit a 3-run homer. And Vern Law pitched all 9 to push his record to 4-0. 4-0 for the Deacon. This date, 1960. No score here as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Colton Wong, the second baseman, leads off. Ball 1 to Colton Wong, sitting 297. A home run, 7 runs batted in. Now the 1-0 pitch. Chopper to the right side. Pedro's got it. Quick toss to AJ. He drops it. Well, the Cardinals with a base runner.
Pedro leads him nicely, gives him a good flip. Pedro just closed the glove before the ball went in it.
An error on Burnett. The Cardinals, their 3rd base runner of the game. And Wong has 2 stolen bases. Lance Lynn will try to get him over to second. Lynn squares around. The throw to first base. Wong was leaning. He gets back in time.
I was thinking about that, whether Mike Matheny might try something like that. Along with a couple stolen bases, maybe try to get him to steal a bag and then have Lynn try to bunt him to third. Looked like he was leaning.
Another foul. Yesterday in the game with the Phillies, they had Pete Kozma at first base, and the pitcher, making his major league debut, Cooney, bunted the ball down to third. And third base, Kozma thought was left open. But the catcher for the Phillies got over there, and as Kozma tried to take 2 bases on the sacrifice, he was thrown out easily at third. The Cardinals have said they've tried to do that in the past. And there goes Wong. Throw down by Cervelli, and that is in time to get it. And Mike Matheny up on the top step of the dugout as Colton Wong pointed back to the dugout, thinking he was safe. And he doesn't want to leave.
Boy, that's a good catch and throw by Cervelli once again. Wong, you can see he's itching to go. Trying to get to second base. Another good, strong, accurate throw from Cervelli. Let's see if we get a good look at it. And that one's tough to tell. Certainly no clear evidence.
Yeah, they're not going to challenge.
And that's why.
Right there on the elbow.
Nice job, Francisco Cervelli.
Great shot by the Allegheny Health Network Super Bowl. So Cervelli's gunned down 2 tonight. And Lance Lynn fouls it off. That's always a bonus when the pitcher's at the plate. And the Pirates now lead the majors. They were tied with Toronto with 10 caught stealings. Now they lead Major League Baseball in that category.
You don't see that very often with a pitcher up there where you're going to try to steal a bag. But again, it's the scouting report on AJ is that you can run on them, and the Cardinals obviously are trying. It's already 3 attempts, but they've been thrown out twice.
1-2 pitch to Lynn. He strikes out. Another strikeout for Burnett. That is his 3rd.
I think, with the Cardinals, they've only had 16 attempts all year coming into this game, and 3 through 3 innings.
But I think you're right on what you were thinking, that Mike Matheny was trying to get him to second base, let Lynn bunt him to third, get a runner at third base with 1 out.
Yeah. being aggressive. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And Cervelli certainly taking exception to it.
John Jay up there, Francisco Cervelli, gunning 2 runners down, and it was the infield hit by John Jay where Walker got the ball to Burnett, but the play couldn't be made, and then he tried to go and was gunned down, and then again the error by Burnett on the Wong play at first base, and then he's gunned down. So Cervelli kind of bailing AJ out a little bit here in the first couple innings.
Yeah. AJ broke out a changeup here to John Jay, that 0-1 pitch Jay was out in front of.
0-2. That's there. Called strike 3. 4 strikeouts for Burnett. It's a 10-pitch inning for AJ.
Happening tomorrow, and the bride and groom are here celebrating with family and friends at the game tonight. That's a whole section of 80 people, but they may have to settle a little bit of difference before they exchange the vows. You see John Daywood and his fiancee Sarah Belarzik here with a bunch of their friends. They have split allegiances. He's a big Pirates fan, she's a Cardinals fan, and their friends are split too. You see half of them in Cards gear, half in Pirates gear. However this shakes out, we hope they're enjoying themselves tonight, Tim and John. We wish them the best of luck tomorrow, as well as the rest of their lives. Sarah and John, congratulations. But a Pirate fan and a Cardinal fan, how do you deal with that every day?
Crazy. Are they from here, Robin?
He is. She is not. Or excuse me, other way around. She is. He's from Pittsburgh.
Their baseball allegiance is going to be a central issue in their relationship, probably. It doesn't cause any division.
Should be fun.
1-0 to Polanco, and he loops this one into center field for a base hit. Leadoff single for Gregory, and now this is kind of what the Pirates had hoped to see with Harrison hitting behind him.
It's a fastball, middle in. They're about above the knee. First pitch swinging, and now, you hope to create some havoc. Jay Hay certainly can hit behind the runner. Lynn is a tough guy to run on, though. Not many attempts. Quick to the plate. Has one of the best catchers in the game to throw it to.
Clint Hurdle mentioned prior to the game today about this scenario with Polanco on base. He likes the way Josh has been hitting with men on base, and it gives him a pretty good hit and run opportunity. Josh can go to the opposite field well. Broke out the hit and run a little bit in Chicago. See if it carries over here in St. Louis.
And with Lynn, again, you know what he's going to throw up there. If you want to hit and run, you're guessing when he's behind the count, he's coming with a fastball.
There goes Polanco, and this ball fouled off.
There it was. I guess a hit and run.
Now with Colton Wong heading over to second base, that opened up a hole. Rick Schofield, third base coach, flashing some signs. 1-1 the count to Harrison. Side for a ball. 2-1. Josh peeking down at third. If there is a sign on, he wanted to make sure he had it.
When Lance Lynn is behind the count, he throws his fastball 92% of the time.
There goes Polanco. Again, it's fouled back by Harrison.
So great opportunity, but again, that sneakiness, that deception that Lynn has, the Pirates having a hard time getting on top of it. The two opportunities here with the hit and run. Josh Harrison hitting the bottom half of the ball both times. Hit and run. We'll obviously try to hit the top half of the ball, keep it out of the air, stay out of the double play.
Lynn's 2-2 pitch. And Josh hits it to Colton Wong. Hits to Peralta, back to first, and out is the call at first.
Got a breaking ball here and pretty routine. It wasn't hit super hard, but hard enough for Wong to get it to Peralta and Peralta to get it to Adams.
Kutch is 0 for 1, flat out deep to center in the first. Strike one to Andrew. Right there, there's one of the best in the business, Yadier Molina. What's he going to put down? Breaking ball. Stood up Kutch for strike two.
Took him a while to put that number 2 down.
Strike 3. Wow. McCutchen strikes out on 3 pitches. Lynn throws 10 in the inning. Hughes and other buccos on their mic'd up workouts. And learn how 9-year-old Jacob Haw helped other kids through Clint Hurdle's charity and much more. It's Inside Pirates Baseball, presented by Allegheny Health Network, tonight after postgame on Root Sports. Well, no score. Pitchers duel early. Going to the bottom of the 4th inning. Matt Carpenter will lead off. Carpenter 0 for 1. He flied to center field. The 0-1 pitch. It's outside. Carpenter's college coach, Jim Schlossnagle at TCU, just recorded his 500th win as a college head coach. That's
a lot. You figure only 60 games a year.
Yeah. Yeah. And Carpenter liked it so much there, he actually moved back to Fort Worth and has a house right near the stadium, right on campus at TCU. Pulls this one foul. 2 balls in, 2 strikes. A.J. Burnett with a 2-2 count on Matt Carpenter. Go inside on him. It's 3-2.
This guy doesn't give away many at bats. Just as calm and relaxed as it gets. He can cover in and out, up and down, hard or soft.
Payoff pitch. Walked it. Let's take a look at this Point Park tweet. As I believe AJ has one of the best breaking balls in the league. What makes it so good?
Well, in my opinion, I mean, he changed his speeds on it a little bit. Like, he just threw a get-me-over curveball first pitch to Carpenter. It was like 79 miles per hour. His average curveball is in the low 80s. And so when he throws it harder, it's almost like a slurve. It's, you know, not the super slow big breaker. But it's hard, and it's got a tighter spin.
Swing and a miss by Holiday. Big secondary lead by Carpenter. He was bluffing, though.
And that was one right there, the hard breaking ball, where, you know, it doesn't have, like, usually the curveball is the easiest spin to pick up, and there's a big hump in it, and so it's a little easier to recognize and lay off. But when AJ tightens it up and throws it hard like that, shows it, a lot of times it comes out of his hand looking like a fastball and then just darts down and away from that right-handed hitter.
And Holiday struck out looking his first time up. Swinging bunt down to third. Harrison charging, barehanding, throwing, and a great pick by Pedro. Terrific play by both corner infielders.
Yeah, that's well done there. Off the bat, I thought that Holiday had himself an infield hit. That's another curveball. Stayed inside this time, and Jay was playing back. Had to come and get it. No time to mess around. Bare hands. Throwing on one motion and a nice little pick, and Pedro's made some nice picks over there for the first time playing regularly at first base. Jay showing that good hustle and range, and Pedro helping out his fellow infielder.
Now Burnett set to face Matt Adams. Adams homered against Philadelphia yesterday, his 3rd homer of the year. To the opposite field gap to do it. He has 8 hits in his last 3 games. Breaking ball down. 1-0 to Adams. Carpenter, the runner at second base. 1 out. strike. This has the makings of what is starting to look like a typical A.J. Burnett start, where he has kept the opposition down and the offense hasn't scored for him. 1-2.
Being careful with Adams. First pitch curveball he took. He got a 1-0 changeup for a strike. The breaking ball there. Curveball. So many different pitchers will have a different type of curveball. Now you think that some are big and loopy. Clayton Kershaw from the left side, maybe one of the better curveballs, is a bigger breaker than AJ's.
Adams just got a piece of it. Stays alive. 1-2.
When AJ throws it harder, like that last one, it's more of a slurve. It doesn't have the big hump in it, but it has a hard late break down and into the lefty. It's just staying alive.
Adams fouls this one off. And into the seats down the third base side. AJ's 1-2 to Adams. And a ground ball to Walker out in right field. He'll throw him out. And Carpenter advancing to third on the play. They're now 2 away for the Cardinals in their half of the fourth. Carpenter down there with third base coach Jose Oquendo. His playing days, he was known as the secret weapon. That was his nickname. He's been the Cardinals' third base coach for a long time.
Yeah, for a long time. Always figured, when Tony La Russa stepped down, that it would be perhaps Jose Oquendo that would take over.
There's Peralta, second time up for him. He struck out looking first time up. Good block there by Cervelli. Ball 1.
Very nicely done with the Cardinals. Carpenter just 90 feet away.
It's a great job for them as a third base coach. So right where he's been stationed for a lot of years. Peralta, bouncy ball foul, and there's the secret weapon making the catch.
I'm trying to think of the coaches that Tony La Russa had, who have gone on to manage in the major leagues. And I'm not coming up with any. And then I think of a guy like Jim Leland, also number 10. And how many of his guys became managers? There's quite a few.
A lot of them. 1-1 pitch to Peralta. It's up high, 2-1. Carpenter at third base with 2 men out. Jay Burnett trying to retire Peralta here. Get out of the inning. 2-1. Swing and a miss. Big curve. And it's 2-2.
AJ throwing a lot of curveballs here in this fourth inning. Wants it again.
2-2 to Peralta. Got him swinging. That's strikeout number 5 for A.J. Burnett. And the Cardinals leave a man at third base. Against Lance Lynn. Let's take a look at our Allegheny Health Network injury update. Homer Bailey, Reds right-handed starter, will undergo season-ending Tommy John surgery. Is likely to return during the 2016 season. So that's a big loss for the Cincinnati Reds.
That's unfortunate.
Cardinals know about a big loss in their rotation too. Adam Wainwright with the Achilles tendon injury. He's going to have surgery. He's out for the season. Neil Walker leads off, the Pirate fifth. Interestingly, you talk about Wainwright. Anytime a pitcher gets hurt at the plate, and that's where he got hurt, at the plate. There's a knee-jerk reaction to say, "Oh, you got to get rid of the DH." Why? I mean, get rid of the pitcher hitting and add the DH. Why should the pitchers risk their career? And Adam Wainwright was one of the first guys to come out and say, "No, don't change the rules. Injuries happen."
He's played with the pitcher batting for how many years? A lot.
Holt Long throws out Neil Walker. One gone for the Pirates in the fifth. But that's just it's a knee-jerk reaction, and then people try to say, "Well, who'd you rather see hit? Some big behemoth or you play the game the right way?" But this was in Milwaukee. He's trying to get out of the box. Kind of a freak injury.
He could have done that playing with his kids or shagging fly balls during batting practice. And just bad luck. Freakish.
I wish Adam the best of health and recovering from that surgery. Right now, the Cardinals have 4 starters. They've got 9 men in the bullpen and a 4-man bench.
9 relievers. It's crazy.
They used a lot of them yesterday. Like a lot of managers, Mike Matheny coaches and manages to win the game that day. He was asked in his post-game press conference about the series beginning with the Pirates tonight. He went on to say, "Well, we'll piece something together, but we tried to win the game today," which they did. They beat the Phillies. They had a 4-run lead, and it was for a while there a pitcher, a batter in the late innings. 0-2 to Marte. Lynn gets ahead of him. Starling strikes up. 6 strikeouts for Lynn. Make sure to follow the Pirates all season in 2015 with MLB.com. At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. 2 outs and Alvarez at the plate. This one hard but fouled on the left field side. Pedro grounded out to Matt Adams at first base in the second inning. Final out of that inning. 2:21.
Not too much of a shift for Pedro. They do have the second baseman Wong out in shallow right.
Wong is out in right field.
Third baseman Carpenter well off the line. Peralta shading the middle.
2-1. Pirates position Neil Walker there for Matt Adams. Ooh, a strike call. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pedro might have thought that one was a little low and in. Inside for sure.
A bit.
Full count. Mike Wichlinski, the home plate umpire. Mike Winters at first base. He's the crew chief. Two Mikes, a Mark, and a Marty. And Pedro goes down on strikes. Another 1-2-3 inning for Lance Lynn and the Cardinals.
Game going on in Curve, PA today, thanks to Tyler Glasnow and his 6 shutout innings tonight. Gave up just 1 hit. He had 7 strikeouts on it. He retired the first 14 batters he faced and is having a fantastic season. ERA is .79 in 4 starts. This is one of the top prospects here in the Pirate system, spending his first season in Double-A. So we see in a higher level competition this year, Tim and John, and the Pirates wanted to see how he reacted to it. I'd say he's off to one heck of a start, right?
He's off to a great start. The single he gave up was with 2 outs and 2 strikes. It was, that was the only hit that Erie got all night. But you look at the Curve pitching staff as a whole, a 1.03 ERA for the Double-A Pirates. How about that?
That's insane.
And Glasnow's under 1. He's under 0.8. Good news.
Yeah, that's
really good.
Awesome stuff.
1-1 to Jason Hayward. Looks at foul 1-2. Score. We're in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Lance Lynn has faced the minimum number of hitters through 5. A.J. Burnett just 2 more than that. 1-2 pitch. This one in the fairground. Pedro will handle it. And there's 1 out.
Nope, foul ball.
He did call foul.
Yep.
He took it over the back.
It looked like a bit of a late call by Mike Winter.
Well, 2 strikes to Hayward. He's wearing number 22, but not on the scoreboard. Scoreboard folks are giving him a new number, apparently. It's John Jay's number. And they rip right to Walker. So he will throw him out. And like I said, John, there's 1 out.
1 away.
Pretty sharply hit ground ball.
Yeah, and I was wondering, you see that hard ground ball where Neal's playing as a second baseman. I'm sure he's thinking, boy, I hope this ball doesn't hit the lip. He gives himself enough distance out there in the grass to where he could adjust if it does come up off the lip.
Yadier Molina with 1 out, the base is empty. Ball 1-2. His first 4 starts, AJ has received just 4 runs of support. He's been on the mound. 1.44 run support average. It's the 2nd lowest in the National League. Behind Milwaukee is Willie Peralta. Peralta getting just over a run of support on average. Two balls and a strike to the Cardinal catcher.
Got to change up to a right-handed batter. I don't know if I've seen that from A.J. Burnett.
Molina is 0 for his last 8. Three balls and a strike. This Friday night, a week ago, he banged up his knee a little bit. Missed 4 games. Drives this one to right field. That'll get down on a hop. A 1-out single for Yadier Molina.
See, AJ does not give in, and you know he's always going to try to work the corners and keep the ball out of the middle of the plate. And that fastball, not a bad location. Actually, I think the previous pitch may have been a better pitch to hit because it was up a little bit, but bottom of the zone, outside, and Molina, that's about all you can do with it. Slap it the other way. Certainly not a pitch that you can drive anywhere. Except you definitely can't hit that pitch out of the ballpark.
Long pops this one up. Cervelli giving it a run. Harrison coming in, and he dropped it. Josh had a great chance to retire Colton Wong there. It was a long way for him to go. A tough play, but
if he would have known that, if he would have known Cervelli was there, Cervelli, that's an easier play for Francisco Cervelli. But as a corner infielder, you know, you're told to get whatever you can. You can see right there, he calls off Francisco. Josh sliding just to protect himself from running into the wall, and that got him in the heel of the glove.
No play is ruled. One foul back. If it's a little bit more of a routine play and the defender drops it, sometimes an error is scored. But that was not necessarily a routine play for Josh. And 2 to the second baseman, Colton Wong. Good block. Doing a nice job blocking pitches.
Oh yeah,
not just tonight, but all season, really. Wong's average at .293. Reached on an error in the third. Error by Burnett. Next ball inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wong has hit in 7 straight games.
See if AJ can get a ground ball at somebody here.
Ball, 2 strike count, 1 out. Molina at first. Back.
So many of these Cardinal hitters, these tough outs. They have the big time star players like Matt Holliday, Jason Hayward, Yadier Molina. I mean, but you know, these role guys, John Jay, I don't want to say role guys because they're everyday guys, but John Jay, Colton Wong, Matt Carpenter. Just steady major league players. Just go out and play the game hard, play it right, give you good at bats, see a ton of pitches.
3-2 count now with 1 out, and Molina the runner at first.
Don't see much flashy stuff going on around here with the St. Louis Cardinals. Just go out and play hard.
He has walked in, and now the Cardinals have 2 men on and 1 out.
That's a big difference, that pop-up, which, again, a great effort by Josh Harrison, but I'm not sure he realized how close Cervelli was. You got 2 on, 1 out situation. Also, pitches saved. That would have been a 1 pitch out with Lance Lynn, the pitcher, up. And AJ ended up throwing 7 pitches or so to Colton Wong. Now you'll have a bunt situation here for Lance Lynn. He's had a long conversation with his third base coach.
Nice to see a popped up bunt here.
A nice firm bunt right back at AJ. Turn 2.
Lynn puts it down the third base side, foul for strike 1.
Well, that's where you want to bunt it. Make the third baseman field it. As long as there's no wheel play on, as long as the shortstop stays home. Make the third baseman Josh Harrison field it. Vacate. He has to vacate the bag. Runners can pretty much walk to the next base.
Offered. There's strike 2.
It's actually one of the rare times you see a batter bunt through a bunt or whiff at it where the catcher does not come up and fire towards second. They almost always anticipate that. You get that runner at second a lot of times leaning the wrong way.
Lynn gets the bunt down third base side, and he strikes out. That is strikeout number 6 for A.J. Burnett tonight. And strikeout in his career, 2,396. He has just tied Sandy Koufax for 42nd on the all-time list. Kevin Brown is next. Still has Dennis Eckersley and Louis Tiant.
We're going to be mentioning this a lot this year as he continues to climb the ladder. Obviously, he might pass Kevin Brown before the night's over.
Maybe Eck, too.
Yeah.
John Jay skies this one to left. Playable for Marte. And that is out number 3. No runs, a hit, 2 left. On to the 6th. Scoreless in St. Louis. Great pictures from the Allegheny Health Network Super Bowl on Friday Night Rocks on Root Sports. What a ball game so far as we go to the 6th inning. No score. Just 2 hits for the Cardinals, only 1 for the Pirates. Francisco Cervelli will lead off the Pirates half of the 6th inning against Lance Lynn. Takes outside for a ball.
Last shot, the slow-mo of A.J. Burnett's curveball. I know we got the tweet earlier, and you get to see, from field level, a little closer to field level, how much break that has.
Cervelli a drive to center field. That's a base hit. Leadoff single. Let's hope to get something going here in the 6th inning.
And that ball was hit so hard that almost got by John Jay. I mean, right back through the box, fastball up and out over, and he hit this ball extremely hard. And you had to see John Jay had to rush over, playing him a little bit in right center. Got a little bit of a tricky hop, had to stay down.
Jordy in need of a hit right now. Struck out swinging in the 3rd. In the 3rd inning, Lance Lynn struck out the side. And there's a ground ball down the line. Cervelli around second. He will head to 3rd. And Cervelli will be held there. And Jordy Mercer is in with a double. And the Pirates have set up shop. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out.
Not always how hard you hit it, but where you hit it. And Jordy Mercer had trouble getting to that fastball back in the 3rd inning. But he gets one here. And he doesn't crush it. He gets on top of it, tops it down the 3rd base line, perfectly placed, just past the diving Matt Carpenter. Carpenter was playing even with the bag, just in case, although not a bunt situation with A.J. Burnett in the on-deck circle. Well-placed grounder for Jordy, setting up shop.
It's his first 2-bagger this year. Outfield playing very shallow, infield even with the bags around the diamond. A.J. takes ball 1. Chance to help his own cause here if he can poke one through the infield. Valley a leadoff single. Mercer the follow-up double, and now Burnett the 9-hitter with a 1-0 count. And hits a ground ball toward the middle. That is through. Scoring is Cervelli. Mercer will hold, and A.J. Burnett has an RBI. There's 2 consecutive starts for A.J. Burnett with a base hit.
And they talked about it a lot this spring training. The pitchers working on their hitting, helping to contribute at the plate. And you don't have to hit it hard. Another well-placed ball. A ball with eyes, but you put it in play, and you never know what's going to happen. A competitive at bat. And A.J. Burnett helping his cause. Team's not scoring him enough runs. He'll drive him in.
A 1-0 Pirate lead. Still nobody out. 1st and 3rd. Gregory Polanco up, who's 1 for 2. Usually doesn't get a lot of RBIs.
That's kind of a risky take. You have 2nd, 3rd, nobody out, pitchers up. You have the infield in. You're never, ever going to see a runner break for the plate on contact with nobody out. Your infield, you could afford to have them play, a little bit deeper. And if they were a little bit deeper, they may have been able to keep that ball in the infield, maybe record now. It's a potential big inning here for the Pirates. Polanco. If he can knock in Mercer. The Bucks' 4th straight hit in this 6th inning.
1 ball, 1 strike to Polanco. Fouls it back. Wonder when A.J.'s last RBI was. It was last June 20th here at Busch Stadium against the Cardinals, a game in which he pitched a complete game. He got the win.
Sees the ball well here. He likes sitting in this park.
So there have been 20 appearances in between RBIs for A.J. Gregory with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Still nobody out. 2 on for the Bucks. Chance to add on with Mercer at 3rd. 0-2.
Hardest fastball tonight for Lance Lynn. Reaching back for a little extra, 94 miles per hour. They're doing a nice job with runners in scoring position. Most likely to get a fastball here.
3-2. That's ball 4, and the bases are full of Bucks with nobody out. I know it's AJ Burnett at first base, but I was wondering if they might start him. 3-2.
No, you don't. You'd never want to risk. I mean, a ground ball double play, you're going to score a run. A strikeout, throw him out double play, and you basically got a runner at third with 2 outs. You're never going to risk that situation. Where when you have that runner over there, you're not going to risk having a guy thrown out on the bases when a sac fly could bring him home.
Jordy Mercer at third base, A.J. Burnett at second, Gregory Polanco over at first. Nobody out. Josh Harrison, the batter. He just had a visit from Derek Lilliquist, the pitching coach. Jay Hay has 3 hits on his first 7 at bats with runners in scoring position this season. Swing and a miss. Last year, he was the National League leader in batting average with runners in scoring position. He had 372. Career with the bases loaded, hitting 400. Just his second plate appearance this year with the bases full. 0-1. Now it's 0-2.
Flynn looking for the strikeout now, and J.A. just looking to put the ball in play.
0-2 the count. Stretched by Lynn. This one down the right field side. Foul.
Good job of wasting that one. Too close to take. Josh Harrison. Harrison has an ability. He stands a good bit away from home plate, but can still get to that pitch. It's on the outside part of the plate. For an 0-2 pitch. Even that pitch at 85 up around the letters, middle of the plate. Lucky that Harrison's still up there.
Oh, 0-2 to Josh. And fighting off the pitch from Lance Lynn. Big opportunity. Possible big inning for the Pirates. They've got 1 run in. This is full, nobody out. Hits by Cervelli, Mercer, and Burnett consecutively. Polanco walked. And 2. Watching Josh during BP today, John, just take everything to right field. He had a round where he just went to right, went to right, went to right. He is good at that inside out stuff.
You typically see that most hitters, their first round of batting practice will be like a fundamental round. Hit and run, get them over, and then they'll work the ball to the opposite field, at least the first round.
2-2. With a fastball at 92. That was the 7th pitch of the at bat, considering he started 0-2. He's working Lance Lynn here. Back to an even count. This will be the 80th pitch for Lynn. Josh making him work.
Battling as he always does. No surprise to see Josh Harrison doing whatever he can. McCutchen awaits. Probably wants Josh to leave some out there for him, but I'm sure would like to see Josh come through with a big hit here as well.
Harrison lifts it down the right side. Third row behind the rain tarp. Josh is going to work a double-digit at bat here. He's going to make Lance Lynn throw his 10th pitch to him. Out of the 82 pitches Lynn will have thrown tonight will have gone to Josh Harrison. This at bat.
Look at Lance Lynn. He only needed 61 pitches to get through 5. He's already at 20 here in the 6th. And there's nobody out.
Molina needs to have a chat.
Which is pretty common. Big situations, Yadier Molina wants to go over things, make sure they're on the same page. Hoping Lynn can get out of this. He's letting Lynn work his way through it. None of the 9 relievers warming up.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Lynn the stretch. And now it's 3-2. So Josh has come all the way back from an 0-2 count.
Almost a certainty that he'll get a fastball here on this full count.
The payoff pitch. And Harrison pops it up. Will be playable for Matt Adams. Infield fly rule. So Josh is automatically out. And Lynn gets the first out of the infield fly.
Yeah, probably ball 4. The pitch is up and out of the zone, and Jay Hay, what a great battle that was. Lance Lynn gets away. One upstairs in the UPMC Sports Medicine strike zone shows you the pitches all over the place that Jay Hay was able to fight off.
Seth Maness starts to warm up for the Cardinals. The 1-out base is full for Andrew McCutchen. He is 0 for 2. Pitch inside and high. Somebody determined to get a hit right now. It's Andrew McCutchen.
Believe it or not, Andrew McCutchen did not have a hit last year with the bases loaded. As crazy as that.
It's hard to believe. On the outside edge, maybe for a strike, 1-1.
He did not like it.
Pitch. 2-1.
Talked earlier about Andrew has struggled against Lance Lynn in his career. This is a huge at bat.
Three balls, 1 strike. So Andrew can be a little patient with this next pitch if he needs to, with the bases full.
Lynn, with Josh Harrison up there, Josh Harrison doesn't look for walks. So he's a free swinger, and he goes up there and hacked and maybe helped Lynn on a few pitches, especially that last one. McCutchen does not chase very often. Lynn's going to have to throw one in the strike zone.
Now it's 3-2.
Right at him. 93 miles per hour, pretty much right down the middle.
Strike 3 call. Second time in a row, Kutch has gone down looking, and this time in a huge spot in the game with the bases loaded.
Lance Lynn has his number, misses up and in with the first one. Gets a call on the 1-0 pitch. This one just off the plate, goes upstairs, gets one by Andrew, and gets one called. It's borderline at best.
There's the bases full with nobody out now. 2 men out. Neil Walker up. And Walker hits this one down the right field side, and that one is going to be foul. A long strike for Walker. Bases loaded. 370 average. This year 0 for 2. Lance Lynn will throw his 30th pitch of the inning next. Ball, 1 strike.
Third of his pitches coming in this 6th inning. Boy, it would be a shame if the Pirates can't take advantage. They've obviously scored 1, but top of the lineup up, the bases loaded. You look for them to break it open.
It's 1-2 to Walker.
For the Cardinals, it would be a huge lift to be just a 1-run game after how this inning started.
Ball, 2-strike pitch from Lance Lynn to Neil Walker. Struck him out. Lance Lynn does give up a run, but after that pulls off a Houdini. 1-0 Pirates. For the 6th inning. And who's bringing the lumber? Well, an unlikely character. Brought to us by Yellowwood. AJ Burnett broke his back. He needs some new lumber. But he got Francisco Cervelli around for the game's only run.
Who would have thought it? AJ Burnett. Up the lone RBI.
Gets a little extra time because he was on base. You know, the clock that they have out in the outfield has expired. They'll give a little leeway to the pitchers and catchers. Matt Carpenter will lead things off for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 6th inning. Matt Holliday and Matt Adams. All right, tough spot, Rock, when you have the 2, 3, 4 hitters up with the bases full. Come up empty.
And yeah, it's a momentum shift, that's for sure.
And this one down the right side. That's foul.
Never believed much in momentum in baseball, but you figure the Pirates are on the brink of breaking things open. Good at bat from Harrison. Then got him to pop up. 3-1 count to Andrew McCutchen. He got a fastball. Ends up striking him out.
Side for a ball.
And for whatever reason, certain pitchers just have hitters' numbers. And versus McCutchen, that just doesn't add up for me. As great as Andrew McCutchen is as a hitter.
Strike two.
Now McCutchen 3 for 38 against Lance Lynn with 15 strikeouts.
Ball and 2 strikes to Matt Carpenter. Two and 2 now. Take that one in. This is a guy you got to keep off second base, particularly. National League leader in doubles with 13. .368. AJ trying to figure a way to shut him down. This is a very tough part of the Cardinal order. 2, 3, and 4.
The Mats.
Not to mention 5 for Alta. That never feels good, does it, Rock?
Well, there's, you know right away if it gets you good or not. Sometimes it'll get you in a spot where you don't feel it so much. Other times you get it and it's immediate. The pain reaches your head immediately. And that one, it looked like got him in the right shin.
Schimberger.
And yeah, that swell up. Might even get a nice brush burn. It won't feel good anytime soon.
AJ battling Matt Carpenter. Cardinal half of the 6th inning.
We're back inside. At least try to, misses up.
Pitch from Burnett to Carpenter. Ground ball right side. Diving stop by Pedro, and he throws it away.
Got him.
And they got him hung up. AJ needed to tag him. They had him dead to rights at first, and AJ never tagged him. Wow.
Had a chance to get him out twice. First of all, great play by Pedro. Nice diving stop going to his right. And just doesn't lead A.J. Burnett. Throw it over the bag, and A.J. has a shot. But throws it behind him. Heads up play by Cervelli, and A.J. with his back to the plate. Didn't look like he knew that Carpenter had broke towards second. A.J.'s at a interesting time around first base today.
Don't you? I mean, you know where the bag is, right? Put the glove down.
Dropped a couple balls and failed to put the tag on him.
Holiday was swinging and miss. Base hit for Carpenter. got away with one. 0-2 to Matt Holliday. Shoots it to right on the play. That is strike 2. Holliday struck out looking in the first inning, and then in the fourth, a little swinging bunt down to third, and Josh Harrison and Pedro Alvarez made great plays to retire. Josh with a bare hand play, and then Pedro with a good pick at first.
My guess is that maybe the Cardinals have shut down the idea of running. Looking at Carpenter as he takes his lead off at first. Hands on his knees. Not a very big lead.
He's attempted 1 steal this year. He's been thrown out. Fouled off to the right. Nobody out, 1 on for the Cardinals. Matt Holliday up, 3rd time for him to the plate tonight. So the Pirate bullpen's going to start getting activated.
AJ approaching that 100 pitch mark. See there, 93.
Jared Hughes is up. Two and 2 now to Matt Holliday. Serge, pretty proud of what his pitchers did during the month of April. Starters ERA 2.94, relievers ERA 2.98, team ERA 2.95. He went. And that is strikeout number 7 for A.J. Burnett. Just tied Kevin Brown for 41st on the all-time list.
Anytime you pass up a guy like Sandy Koufax, that's pretty impressive. Let's see the sharp breaking ball once again. Holliday doesn't pick it up.
Strikeout 2,397. 1 out for the Cardinals. So now he's got Dennis Eckersley to catch. So he's tied Kevin Brown. Matt Adams the batter. You're in a big game with Kevin Brown, weren't you?
Yeah.
Did you go in late for defense?
Yeah, played a little defense.
No hitter?
No hitter. Perfect game. I think into the 7th or 8th inning, maybe the 8th. They hit a batter, I think, in the top of the, or bottom of the 8th.
San Francisco?
Yep. Domination.
1 pitch to Adams. Swung on a roller to Walker. He'll go to J-Hay for 1. The turn, double play.
Outstanding work.
The twin kill gets A.J. out of the inning. We'll head to the 7th. 1-0 Bucks. with our Chick-fil-A double play. Comes at a terrific time. Matt Adams pulls the curveball. Pirates in a shift, so Jay in the middle.
What a job by A.J. Burnett. I don't know if this will be his last inning or not, but that good breaking ball. Hit firm to Walker. Easy from there.
Starling Marte is swinging a miss. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out last time up in the 5th. His first time in the 2nd inning, he lined out sharply to Jason Hayward in right field. There's been a scoring change. And the scoring change on the Matt Carpenter base hit in the 6th. So take a hit away from the Cardinals and add an error to Pedro Alvarez on the throw, which allowed him to reach first base. That's been a scoring change that occurred during the break. Marte ground ball to Peralta. There's one out. Let's go back to our Root Sports studios in Pittsburgh. Rob King with this game break. Thanks, Rob. A-Rod's having quite a start to his season, isn't he?
Just when you thought he was done. It didn't seem like anybody wanted him. Still can hit.
Yeah, the Yankee fans are certainly cheering him now. Pedro's 0 for 2. Finally count, 0-1. Swings and drives it to center field, right at John Jay. There are 2 men out. Get to the game this Thursday when the Pirates take on the Reds at 7:05 in a Central Division showdown. Be one of the first 20,000 through the gates and receive a Clint Hurdle Gnome. Presented by Trip Total Media. For tickets, go to pirates.com. Everybody can have Clint, well, 20,000 can have Clint Hurdle in their garden. On their shelf.
Well, should have like double bubble in the back pocket.
Francisco Cervelli swinging a miss. He's 1 for 2. Singled in the 6th. Scored the game's only run. Gnomes are popular around sports. Giveaway nights. I don't know the reason why, but they are. Different.
Everybody trying to mix it up.
0-2. Cervelli down on strikes. Pirates retired in order. 8-pitch inning for Lance Lynn. It is stretch time in St. Louis.
On Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network. Health for all. By Kenny Ross. Ask a neighbor. And by Levin Mattress. Located in all Levin Furniture showrooms and freestanding stores. Let's go Bucks!
A 1-0 Pirates lead, bottom of the 7th inning. And a pitching change. As Archimedes Caminero will pitch the 7th for the Pirates. AJ goes 6. 12th appearance for Caminero.
Good numbers. Good start, first of all. Way to go, AJ. 6 innings, just the 2 hits allowed. Archie allowing just a 179 batting average.
And Johnny Peralta lights one up the middle, a base hit. He was sitting on a fastball and he got it. And Peralta is aboard with nobody out.
Oh yeah, there's scouting reports. Everybody knows everything nowadays, and he was geared up for that fastball. Got one. 97 miles per hour. It wasn't a bad location. Down, outer third. Peralta jumped all over it. Just a little too hard for Neil Walker to make the play.
Pitch to Hayward is in the dirt, and it's 1-0.
Hasn't been uncommon for the Cardinals to get the leadoff batter on. That's the 5th time on the first 7 innings. And leadoff batter of an inning reached safely.
Camaro's pitch to Hayward. Foul ball and a strike. So Burnett tonight moves into a 41st all-time on the strikeout list, tying Kevin Brown, passing Sandy Koufax tonight. Next up, Dennis Eckersley. He needs 3 more strikeouts for 2,400 in his career, which he'll more than likely get in his next start. And Hayward fouls it off for strike 2. But here's another number that we hadn't talked about yet, which is even more impressive. AJ's ERA goes from 1.8 to 1.45. Under 1.5 right now.
5 earned runs allowed, 31 innings of work.
Two to Hayward from Caminero. 2-2. 98 miles an hour. Is his third base umpire Marty Foster. That'll fill the count at 3-2.
Big pitch here. See if Mike Matheny wants to move the runner Peralta on this 3-2 pitch.
Now set, ready for the payoff. There goes the runner. Swung on and drilled to left field, deep to the corner. Ball slicing, and Marte leaping up on the wall. Brings up in the seats. A long foul ball.
And Matheny being aggressive on the bases. 2 of his 3 attempts did not go his way as Cervelli threw him out. Yesterday, Matheny put a hit and run on. First and second, nobody out. Very rarely see that because most managers fear the triple play.
Well, back in April of 2009, Dusty Baker did that with the Reds, and it did turn into a triple play for the Pirates. There goes the runner. And this ball pounded foul. That may be the last time I think I can remember seeing a hit and run with men on first and second.
You don't see it very often. It didn't work out for him either. No. Swing and a miss, and the runner was thrown out third. Putting together a pretty good at bat here, making Caminero Now into the strike zone. That's a throw over to first. Can't help but think with Caminero throwing 100 miles an hour, you're hoping that the glove work that Sean Rodriguez did for Pedro will work.
Show up Pedro's glove the other day in Chicago. Peralta goes, pitch outside, ball 4. And the Cardinals have the tying run in scoring position with nobody out. Looks like Clint Hurdle wants to go to the pen. Let's check and see who's ready to get up. Hughes was up before. So if he were to get him up again, it wouldn't take him very long.
This is a bunt situation. I wouldn't want to square around the bunt this guy. Throwing 100 miles an hour with movement.
Ray's going to go by a little time.
Reputation with a little bit of wildness. That wouldn't be a comfortable bunt attempt. And, discuss things. It could be for Hughes. You're also, you might go out there. Clint Hurdle may have told Ray that we need him in the strike zone. If they square the bunt, let him do it. You have to throw it over the plate, and talk about the bunt defense. We'll just do a regular bunt defense here, or or whatever Clint Hurdle decides on. But my guess it would be a regular bunt play. But a lot of different things could be discussed here in this situation. As Hughes and Bastardo loosen.
Ray Searage back to the dugout, celebrating his 60th birthday. His family on hand, as Robert reported earlier. His son surprised him coming up from Florida.
And Pedro behind the runner at first. Jay Hay, even with the bag.
There's a pitch to Molina. Stepping off his camera.
And that was another thing I'm sure Ray Searage had told him to do. Sit up there, hold as long as you can. See if Molina tips his hand. Now Pedro's moved in. Front of the runner at first.
Molina takes ball 1. Showed bunt. Seth Maness back up throwing again. Caminero's 1-0. Molina bunts it foul for strike 1.
Caminero takes him off at 95 miles per hour. Still with that movement, that's no easy task. Molina squaring, getting that bat head out there.
Ball bunted foul for strike 2.
Not happy with himself. He really jabbed at that one. He never did get the bat head out in front of home plate. We'll see if they keep it on or take it off. I think the Pirates might think that Mike Matheny has Molina swinging with 2 strikes. Pedro's backed off, as has Josh Harrison.
And Mercer broke for second base, so Caminero stepped off.
Jose Oquendo charged the bag. I've never seen a third base coach do that. He was yelling back and basically ran to the base.
1-2, a looper into shallow left field, back to get it. Mercer goes to second, and they got him. A double play. Jordy Mercer with a great play. And Peralta's doubled off.
You as a base runner at second base, I mean, you're not sure if he's going to make that play or not, but you got to make sure you're not far enough away that you can't get back. If that drops in, again, it's a tricky play because if it drops, you got to be able to beat a throw to third if Jordy can get it on a hop. But he got too far, halfway out there. A bang play over there at second base. I mean, Mike Matheny's waiting to see, hear a word from his replay people, and he is going to challenge it.
So the Cardinals will challenge. There's one out for sure. And the Allegheny Health Network Super Mo look. Where's the foot? Ooh. All right.
Yeah, that's
going to be overturned.
Looking like that foot got there. You know what the interesting thing about that is he was sliding back. You don't see every runner. Look how he's pointing his toe. Look at he's pointing his toe. Now, a lot of people, they slide into the bag with their, toes up. They might hit it first with the bottom of their shoe or their heel. If he goes at that and tries to slide in with the bottom of his shoe or his heel and his toes up, he's probably out. But, that's pretty heads up if he did it on purpose to point that toe at the base.
Replay official back in New York gives the word. And the call will be overturned. And Peralta will be safe at second base. So Molina is out. As Mercer retires him. And now the Cardinals with runners on first and second and one down.
And Colton Wong, the left-handed batter, is not going to face Caminero.
Clint Hurdle going to the bullpen. He is calling upon left-hander Antonio Bastardo. Pitching change, timeout in St. Louis. Pirates 1, Cardinals nothing.
Of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
We take a look now at the Nissan Road ahead. Tomorrow, 1:30 airtime. Game 2 of the series. Left-hander Francisco Liriano. 222 earned run average and a 1-1 record. Takes on Cardinal right-hander John Lackey. He's 1-1 also. Then on Sunday afternoon, same time, Vance Worley goes for win number 3. As he will oppose the now ace of the staff for the Cardinals, Michael Wacha, who is 4-0. Here is Antonio Bastardo. Clint Hurdle getting the left-on-left matchup with Colton Wong coming to the plate. And one out in the bottom of the 7th, 2 on for the Cardinals.
4.50 the ERA, 6 punch outs in 7 innings, a couple of walks. We don't see this very often from Clint Hurdle, where he matches up. You know, the 8th inning goes to Watson, the 9th inning goes to Melanson. There was a while there he was going with Hughes in the 7th, but matching up Caminero, now Bastardo.
Bastardo delivers. It's in the dirt for ball 1.
Another good block from Cervelli.
One ball and no strikes. Only kept the runners right where they were. Peralta at second base, Hayward behind him at first. One 1-0 to Colton Wong. Start a long look at second. Now will come home. Swinging strike, foul ball.
Another breaking ball. And he's varying his looks at Peralta. Bastardo very deliberate, very slow to the plate. Peralta, not the fastest base runner, but he just wants to make sure he keeps looking back there, make sure that Peralta doesn't have any ideas breaking for third with 1 out here.
1-1. Strike 2. Got to figure this is the only guy Bastardo's going to face. They got a right-handed hitter, Mark Reynolds, on deck, and Jared Hughes ready in the pen. One-two pitch to Colton Wong. 2-2.
Bastardo has that sneaky fastball and usually pretty aggressive with it, but showing Wong a fair share of sliders.
Two.
Another breaking ball. We saw a couple of times during this at bat where Cervelli, after giving the sign, he'd set up and he'd kind of move his glove high, like up around his face mask. And the reason he did that, you know, paranoia perhaps. I don't want to call it paranoia, but I mean the Cardinals have been so good, especially 2 years ago with runners in scoring position, and don't know if they're relaying signs or giving any signs. Peralta, that is, at second, maybe relaying what's coming to Wong, and so Cervelli will put that glove up because obviously you're not going to throw a breaking ball up high or any off-speed a pitch. And so when he put his glove up around his chest, he's kind of messing with Peralta to have Peralta think that it could be a fastball. Big pitch here.
The payoff pitch from Bastardo to Wong. Runners go. And that is strike 3 call. And a double steal pulled off by the Cardinals. Well, now the tying run is at third, and the potential go-ahead run is in scoring position at second.
And again, Bastardo takes a while to deliver it. Does he get a call? Oh, wow. Does he ever get a call? That pitch, a good bit off the plate, and J-Hay was not covering the bag. Now, whether that was predetermined or not sure. J-Hay did not get over the cover. Cervelli held on to it. And that'll be it for Bastardo.
Bastardo faced his only man. Jared Hughes will come on to face the right-handed hitting Mark Reynolds. Step aside for another pitching change. 1-0 Bucks. Here in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. 1-0 Pirates with the lead, bottom of the 7th, 2 outs. Peralta at third, Hayward at second, Mark Reynolds to pinch hit. With the left-handed hitting John Jay on deck, and Jared Hughes has come on to try to record the final out against the right-handed slugger Mark Reynolds.
Jared Hughes, Clint Hurdle loves to go with him in these inherited runners situations. So good at inducing soft contact on the ground.
And Reynolds taps this one foul. Reynolds a dead pull hitter too. He hits most of his balls to the left side. There's one pinch hit this year for the Cardinals. One delivery from Hughes coming. Reynolds taps a foul again for strike 2, so Jared gets ahead.
The one thing you want to do is that you want him to pull the ball. Jay way over towards the line as Tony Watson starts to loosen. Jordy Mercer way in the hole. A problem area would be if he hit one to short, because there's a lot of room between Mercer and Neil Walker. See where Hayward is over there. Right there.
Oh, ground ball right in the shift, and this game's going to be tied up. Everything for Reynolds to the left side, and he found the only spot the Pirates didn't have an infielder.
And that's a shame, you know. And they have their charts, their spray charts, and everything else like that. And you look how much room. I mean, that's a ton of room. That's almost 90 feet. That's almost the length of the bases. You know, for a guy that's going to pull a ball on the ground. I mean, again, the charts dictate where these guys should play. And you see Walker was on the first base side of second base. And you know, when you see a hole that large, you're thinking, well, maybe you're better served to have him on the other side. And then with the pitch being away from Hughes to Reynolds, a lot less likely to be as dead pull.
Clint Hurdle wants to come out, and looks like we've got a double switch. Watson, the lefty, will come in and face the lefty Jay. And Sean Rodriguez has the glove on, and is his first baseman's mitt, so Pedro will be coming out. So that's the double switch. 1-1 ball game, bottom of the 7th. Part of the double switch. He will go to first base. He'll bat second in the top of the 8th inning. Tony Watson goes into Pedro Alvarez's spot in the batting order. The run charged to Archimedes Caminero. He's still responsible for Jason Hayward at third.
Tony Watson has given up 4 earned runs, both a 3-run homer and a solo shot. Outside of that, he's been great. 13 strikeouts, no walks, 2.77 ERA, facing John Jay, a guy who last year hit lefties very well. 3.75 average against left-handed pitching.
Go-ahead runs at third. And the pitch to Jay. Strike one.
Fastball, I think got in there deep. A late swing and fouled it off his back foot, I believe.
Close enough. Runners don't move up. Mark Reynolds with a seeing eye ground ball into the open area of the shift on the left side of the infield. And again, Reynolds a dead pull hitter. Ties the game with a pinch hit single. John Jay, a bouncer to Rodriguez. He drops it. He'll have to rush to first. And Jay is out.
That was a little scary. They just stay with it.
We go to the 8th, even at 1. One run, so it's $1 off tickets for lower outfield box and outfield box seats. May 5th through the 10th, when the Reds and Cardinals come into the next homestand. So each time the Pirates score a run, there's $1 off of those tickets. Those tickets will be available 30 minutes after Sunday's game here in St. Louis at Pirates.com. Seth Maness takes over. UPMC scoreboard says 1-1. So it's a brand new ball game. And Maness makes his 11th appearance.
And Maness is kind of like their version of Jared Hughes. Throws a good sinker, gets the ground balls. Pretty sharp breaking ball there.
Nothing in 1 to Jordy. And it's nothing in 2.
90-mile-per-hour fastball. You won't see much harder than that. You already saw the fastball, slider, occasional curveball or changeup.
Mercer is 0 for 6 against Maness. Doesn't have a hit off of him yet.
See how casually, by the way, Yadier Molina, that's a 2-strike pitch. It was down and away in the dirt. How casually he just picked it. You know, like if you chase it, obviously the ball gets away. Big chance Mercer ends up at first, but Molina is a great defensive catcher. But it's uncanny how well he can pick balls out of the dirt.
Mercer comeback. Nice underhand toss to Adams, 1 out. Manis will now face Sean Rodriguez, be the first at bat for Rodriguez tonight. Came in as part of a double switch defensively last inning. Had the interesting play at first to end the bottom of the 7th, but he stuck with it. Takes a strike. Manis threw a third of an inning yesterday against the Phillies. One ball, 1 strike to Rodriguez. Shaw hits this one down the right side. That's a fair ball. Rodriguez around first. He's hustling for second. The throw from Hayward is in time to get him. Sean hit that ball hard. It came off the wall like a rocket, and that gave Hayward time to make the throw.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing as a batter, when you hit a ball down the line, normally it'll go down into the corner, but that different wall down there, that gave Hayward a beautiful hop to where he can come up firing. It actually had some momentum. Usually you got to go in there and you dig for it. He had momentum coming up and throwing an absolute perfect strike.
Clint wants to challenge us.
We'll see where the tag is.
Clint came out of the dugout and was pointing at home plate umpire Mike Mishlinski. And now the crew chief Mike Winter will oversee this one with the second base umpire Mark Wegner.
And you certainly applaud the play of Sean Rodriguez. When you hit a ball down the line like that, you're not going to be cautious. You're going to go and, especially with 1 out, and try to get that extra base. It's going to take almost a perfect play to throw you out. And Jason Hayward pretty much made a perfect play. Played it perfectly off the wall. Again, had some momentum. And the throw couldn't have been much better.
Really, Clint Hurdle, with nothing to lose here but a challenge, would happen to be overturned. Now you're looking at a guy in scoring position that would give you the lead, maybe. If not, you're right where you were. Another look at that one from this angle here. The Allegheny Health Network Super Mall. Did he get his right hand in before he was tagged, or at the same time? Did the tag touch his hand?
There's certainly not enough evidence to overturn it. Not from what we've seen.
He is out. We'll find out in a second if it confirmed. Clear and convincing evidence. The call is confirmed and Rodriguez is out. Gregory Polanco, the batter, facing Manis, with 2 outs and the base is empty. 2 challenges, tie, one by either manager. Matheny won his. Clint Hurdle did not win his. Polanco bouncing ball to second base. Wong waits for it. And Manis retires the Pirates in order. We head to the bottom of the 8th at Busch Stadium. It's a 1-1 game. Friday Night Rocks on Root Sports, and we've got one for you tonight that is rocking. It's 1-1. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Tony Watson facing Carpenter. Jason Hayward throwing out Sean Rodriguez, trying to stretch a single into a double. And Hurdle challenged the call at second base, and it was ruled that Sean was out. Call was confirmed. Strike 2 to Carpenter.
Exactly, they were challenged.
Nothing in 2 is the count to Carpenter. Pitch from Watson. Outside. Ball and 2 strikes. The count to Carpenter. The pitch. Outside again, 2-2. Two to Carpenter. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the 8th of a 1-1 game. Carpenter fouls it back. Last inning, Clint Hurdle used 4 pitchers in the 7th. Cardinals would squeeze out a run. It was charged to Caminero. A.J. Burnett no longer the pitcher of record. It's amazing that in the 5 starts for A.J., the Pirates have scored 5 runs for him when he's been on the mound. 5 runs total.
Oh, he's driven in one of them.
Driven the one tonight.
The only one. That's a shame. I mean, he certainly deserves some wins as well as he's pitched. And obviously you can go back to that 6th inning where the Pirates scored their first run. Bases loaded, nobody out after taking a 1-0 lead, and you had your big boys coming up, and you could not drive in anymore.
3-2, and Carpenter loops it towards center field, and that one is going to drop behind Mercer. It's a leadoff single for Carpenter.
It's just a tough out. It's just as simple as that. He's a tough out. He battles, he battles, he battles.
Park University tweet earlier. What is one stat that is currently not tracked by MLB that you would be interested in adding? Well, there's a lot of stats that are tracked. Too many to count.
I don't know what they're all tracking as far as the stats. I know, you're hearing about the velocity of the ball off the bat. How long it takes a guy to get moving for an outfielder, for instance, on a jump, how much ground they're covering, how quickly they cover that ground. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on that I don't know what is out there that's not tracked, but it's pretty cool stuff.
And Holiday, a ground ball to short. Mercer to Walker. Double play. 2 men out. That erases Carpenter from the base paths, and something that Carpenter does quite a bit. He led the club last year in double plays hit into. That's a Holiday?
Yeah, you said Carpenter.
Oh, Holiday. No, Carpenter's a Holiday. Big part.
Yeah, and yeah, that's just his 2nd this year. As Carpenter is, as Neil, I'm sure, was well aware, was going to come in hard and try to disrupt the pivot at second base. But yeah, Holiday will hit his share of double play balls.
2 outs, base is empty. Matt Adams, Pirates shifting around to the right for him. Left side of the infield wide open. 1-0, and Adams going to try to take his base hit. Fouls it off. Pirates are going to give him that.
Watching the game yesterday, similar situation. You know, they had the whole left side. He had the whole left side to work with, and the announcers were talking about it. And he proceeded to hit the next pitch over the bullpen for a homer.
1-1 pulled foul into the Cardinal dugout.
So obviously, Clint Hurdle. Pirates don't really care if he wants to go and try to drop a bunt down. Scatter some Redbirds.
0-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. So Tony Watson gives up the leadoff single, and the double play and the strikeout, and we're on to the ninth. Tied at 1. Francisco Liriano takes them out as the Pirates face the Cards, starting at 1:30 with Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason on Root Sports. John Lackey will pitch for the Cardinals. Josh Harrison will lead off the top of the 9th inning of a 1-1 ball game. Only 18 more games to go between these two teams after tonight.
It seems it's so much fun. It really is. It's so many games are like this. Back and forth, good pitching. Seems like the home team usually has a bit of an edge throughout the season series.
The closer Trevor Rosenthal is on now to pitch in a tie game in the 9th. Harrison pops this one up. Shallow center. Out is the second baseman Colton Wong, and in comes John Jay to make the catch. And Jay Hay is 0 for 4.
John Jay broke back. That's why it took him so long to get under that ball. Step or so back and a long way to go. Falls off Wong.
10 hits combined in the game, 5 for each team. McCutchen looking for 1. He's 0 for 3. He has struck out twice looking. Back in the first, he flied out deep to center. He takes a strike from Rosenthal. McCutchen is 3 for 9 against Rosenthal, and he falls behind in the count 0-2. Gets his sign from Molina. The 0-2 pitch. Low. It's 1-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. With the count against McCutchen knows it. Rosenthal's got to come with a strike. Double barrel action in the bullpen. Scahill and Melanson. If the Pirates take the lead, it would be Melanson. If not, it would be Scahill.
Takes one swing. McCutchen certainly can make a difference. One swing. And you'll see Melancon. Andrew can somehow take Rosenthal deep.
Grounds it wide to third.
That may have been a pitch that he hasn't seen from Rosenthal before. Straight changeup.
Set up outside for that 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Two times he's struck out in one of his 3 hits. It's been a home run against Rosenthal. 2-2 pitch. And a bouncing ball toward the hole. Peralta won't get it. That'll be a base hit for McCutchen. That is base hit number 1001 for Andrew.
Perfectly placed. Good 2-strike approach.
Now the Bucs with a go-ahead runner on base. Over at Wrigley Field the other day, Ron, you went in and listened to Joe Madden talk before the game, daily press conference. He said something that is so true. He said, "It's so hard to win a Major League Baseball game." He said it's very easy to lose one.
Yep.
Walker takes inside. But these guys scrap and battle. And, you know, when you see a team win on their last at bat or whatnot, they jump all over each other. There's 162 of these. But they get just as excited for every one.
Yeah.
Because it is so hard to win a Major League game. 2-0. Walker tonight is 0 for 3. Fly to left, grounded to second, and struck out.
How many guys run on Rosenthal? And Neil Walker, I think, got the change up as well. How about that? 2-0 change. And I think he was looking to get the barrel out to at least knock a ball through the big hole on the right side. Ended up chasing a pitch down and out of the zone. Pretty good numbers.
4 for 7. 2 balls and 1 strike to Walker. McCutchen at first. 1 out, top of the 9th. A 1-1 game. Throw over there, diving back is Andrew.
Six attempts with Rosenthal on the mound. Stolen bases. There's would-be base stealers. Have been successful 3 times, caught 3 times.
Walker with runners on base this season, hitting .314. A 2-2 pitch from Rosenthal coming. And Walker hits a ground ball left side. Peralta, he's got 1 and called out at first. Haven't heard a lot of challenges, but he can go out and ask after the 7th. I think that's what he might be doing. He's coming up the dugout steps. We left you. They just finished the review. It was a crew chief review because it was after the 7th inning. Clint Hurdle asked for one and got it. And the Allegheny Health Network Supermo shows us that Neil Walker got his toe on the bag before Matt Adams caught it. So Walker is ruled safe at first base. McCutchen is out 6-4 on the force out. And also, one of the trainers had to come out, and it's Ben Potenziano helping McCutchen as Kutch was running gingerly off the field.
That's the left leg again, it looks like.
So there are 2 men out and Marte at the plate. Good guy to have up right now. Good fastball hitter. Leads the club in RBIs and home runs. So the review, crew chief review, goes Clint Hurdle's way. And the inning's still alive for the Pirates. Marte takes a strike and it's 1-1. You like that rule?
Yeah.
Even though you're out of challenges, you can still get them?
Late in the game, sure. I think everybody wants to get it right. You wonder. I mean, will they just continue to allow them to do it over and over and over again?
See that clock right there starts. That's how the boys in the TV truck are signaled to go to break. It started instead of not starting. We should have waited through the replay, but they got us going early. The pitch outside for a ball, and it's 2-2. For 3 tonight for Marte, hitting .237.
What'll be interesting is, like, let's say we go into extra innings or whatever, and there's another bang bang play, and the umpires refuse to check.
There's a bouncer to short, and short way. It's going to do it. No runs, a hit. 1 man left. 1-1 after 8.5. After sliding into second base, but he's still out there. Goes hard into second base here. And Walker ends up beating out the throw after the crew chief review. Andrew Lambeau goes into left field. Starling Marte is out as part of the double switch to get Rob Scahill in the game.
Cahill has done nice work. 6 2/3 innings, 7 strikeouts, 3 walks.
I don't know why Starling Marte's out there in the bullpen, but he ran out there is now sitting out there.
Well, my guess is maybe he started out. I didn't pay attention, but maybe he started out and realized that he was being removed, so he just kept running.
Johnny Peralta leads off for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 9th inning. There's a 1-0. Low, 2 balls and no strikes.
Good snacks, maybe.
Maybe the snacks are better in the bullpen. Who knows? 2-0 pitch to Peralta. And swing and a miss. Belisle warming up now for the Cardinals. Belisle, a former Rocky. Peralta now with an even count, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Scahill has a good fastball with late life exploding through the hitting zone.
Breaking ball pulled foul.
Cervelli was tapping the ground, wanted it down, left it kind of in the middle of the plate, got away with it. But because of the fastball, the good fastball, the previous pitch that Peralta swung through, he was cheating. He was getting it ready early. And so even though a mistake pitch with the slider, Peralta was way out in front.
Ground ball to the right side. There is Walker. Has to hurry and gets it over to Rodriguez for the out.
That's one of those ground balls. If you're an infielder, you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Because you got yourself caught in between a little bit. Neal a little worried about getting that little in-between hop, the ball on its way up. But the good soft hands of Neal, he made it look like no big deal.
Jason Hayward has been walked twice. Stole a base as part of a double steal in the 7th. He's grounded out to Walker at second base. Scahill's pitch. Strike 1 call. Hayward's former team, the Braves, came back to beat the Reds earlier, 4-3. Scahill appeared Monday night in Chicago. Struck out 2 in 2 scoreless innings. This one is lifted foul down the left side for strike 2. Scahill's allowed just 1 unearned run in his first 7 appearances.
Swing. Fastball at 94.
Scahill has now retired 7 of the first 8 first batters that he's faced in an inning. Gets away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Opposing hitters are 7 for 27 against Scahill. Oh, swinging bunt up the right side. It goes foul. I think Rob still marvels at the story of how he got added to the 25-man roster. Vice Director of Minor League Operations Larry Broadway talked to him Sunday before opening day. He was already sent back to minor league camp and spring training. And the Pirates gave it a second thought, and they said, well, I think we want this guy. And so Rob told me that when he got the word Larry Broadway wanted to talk to him, he's like, oh boy, this can't be good.
It rarely happens. Once you're out in spring training, you're usually out.
Strike 3 called. He got him looking. So 2 men out.
Working away, and then he said, well, we'll try to come inside, and that pitch, oh, so close, too close to take. See that late tail? Nothing Hayward could do about that. That's a tough pitch to handle.
To Molina. Molina is 1 for 3. He hits this one in the air to center field, playable for McCutchen. And Rod Scahill sets down the side in order in the bottom of the 9th. Extra innings from St. Louis. On Jack Link's beef jerky. Feed your wild side. And for a low-scoring affair, it's been somewhat wild at times here tonight with John Wehner and Robbie Ince-Mikowski. I'm Tim Never. Matt Belisle is on to pitch the 10th for the St. Louis Cardinals.
He's off to a good start. 1-0. 10th appearance. 1.04 ERA. Pirates can get something going other than that 6th inning. Really, the Pirates just haven't mounted much.
Andrew Lambo will lead off. Lambo came into left field as part of a double switch. Scahill in the game. He's 1 for 23. Lambo's first major league home run came here. It was off Adam Wainwright. Strike 1 to Lambo. 44-year-old Matt Belisle on the hill. Spent a lot of years in Colorado, Cincinnati. Year 4 and 7 with the Rockies, 66 appearances. 0-2 to Lambo. Inside 1-2.
See what the Cardinals every year always have one guy that wear the socks high. The old school look.
The stirrups going to come back.
Never.
Starting to see him a little bit, not much. Sunday this year.
Too uncomfortable.
In the old days, you had to pull the stirrups up, make it look like strings. They're at the bottom of your feet.
They look better than those.
Here's the 2-2. Lambeau grounds it to the right side. Colton Wong will throw him out, and there's one gone. Bilal gets the first out. Face the catcher Francisco Cervelli. Second time this year the Pirates have gone to extra innings. The first time was on April 8th in Cincinnati. Walked off in 11 innings, 5-4 on the Reds. Chance to get even with the Reds after this series. They'll be coming into PNC Park Tuesday. And a base hit by Cervelli. His second hit of the night. 2 for 4 for Francisco.
Left something up there. Looked like a little slider left up. Right above the belt, middle of the plate. Feel pretty satisfied with that, but in the back of your mind, Cervelli's probably at first because, man, could have hit that one a long way.
Yeah, but how many of those did you think about? You had a nice line drive base hit. You might say the same thing. Boy, I wish I'd have got under that a little bit.
Yeah.
Jordy Mercer, then Sean Rodriguez. Jordy will take a strike. Mercer doubled in the 6th. First double of the season.
He won't be able to do that this at bat. Carpenter a step from the line at third base. Playing against the double.
Down the other side, but fouls it away. It's 0-2 to Jordy Mercer. Game 1 of 19 against the Cardinals. Next weekend at PNC Park. You'll get to see the Cardinals in person if you're coming down. Successive weekends. The Pirates and Cards are quiet. The way the schedule works, too, when you look at coming here, Pirates have to come here in August and then again in September. Mercer down on strikes. 2 gone.
It's getting pretty warm here in August.
Yeah, but think about the series in September, how meaningful that could be down the stretch.
Should be fun.
September 4th, 5th, and 6th. It's a weekend. And then they play the Cardinals at home. This is the best part of it. September 28th, 29th, and 30th. Second to last home series of the season. Pirates will finish with the Reds at home. But 2 series in September with the Cardinals. Sean Rodriguez drills this one to right center field. That's going to get down. Cervelli around second base. He's on his way to third. And the Pirates have the go-ahead run 90 feet away.
How about Sean Rodriguez and the way he's been swinging the bat? 2 at bats, 2 bullets. Lined one down the right field line. His first at bat. This one, he gets a fastball down the middle and drives it into right center. If he could have split the gap a little bit better, you never know. Cervelli had been racing around, but John Jay deep enough, able to get over there and keep that ball from getting to the wall. So Cervelli has to pull up at third.
Matt Belisle will be pulled. And the left-handed specialist Randy Choate to face Gregory Polanco when we come back. RBI. Tim Neverett. 1 run on 8 hits for the Pirates. 1 run on 5 hits for the Cardinals. A.J. Burnett was stellar again tonight. Francisco Cervelli has singled and scored the only Pirates run. He's got 2 hits tonight. Lance Lynn was very good for the Cardinals too. 7 innings, 10 strikeouts. Mark Reynolds pinch hit RBI single away from the shift. Tied this ball game in the 7th inning. And with 2 outs, Cervelli's at third base, Rodriguez is at first, and Gregory Polanco facing the veteran lefty Randy Choate.
Choate, the specialist, he comes in just for these situations. First pitch breaking ball. And you sit there and you wonder, like, how does this guy continue to do it? I mean, his fastball averages 83, 84 miles per hour. And he only has the slider, so he's a 2-pitch guy. Just 2 2/3 innings pitched in his 9 outings.
Inside, it's 2-0. Well, he pitched third yesterday against Philadelphia in the day game here. Gregory 1 for 3. Polanco had a single in the 4th, walked in the 6th. Hitting 280. 2-0 from Choate. For a strike call. Over the course of his career, lefties are hitting 190 against him. Right-handers almost 300.
Polanco has a big hole on the right side. They're holding Rodriguez on. Obviously, Choate, a soft tosser, leave him something to pull.
2-2. Two outs, first and third, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count to Gregory Polanco. He is 0 for 2 in his career against Randy Choate. Pirates leave 2. Choate gets the strikeout. Night Rocks on Root Sports in overtime tonight. Extra innings, bottom of the 10th inning, 1-1. Scahill facing Colton Wong, the second baseman. He delivers ball 1 to him. Friday night on Root Sports. Friday Night Rocks, featuring local bands, the local music scene. 1-0. And a ground ball towards short. Good hop for Mercer. Guns it to first to get him 1 out.
You knew Wong was up there looking for a pitch he could drive, and I think he was surprised by the velocity of that fastball tying him up. We saw Wong last year. Big walk-off homer here against the Pirates.
Pinch hitter will be Peter Borges. 3 for 21 career as a pinch hitter. He's got very good speed. Center fielder by trade. Pitch coming to Borges from Rob Scahill. Retired the first 4 men he's faced. And he starts him off with strike 1. Down to third. Right to J-Hay. 2 down.
Borges had a walk-off hit against the Pirates last year, too. Bottom of the 9th inning single. Hit that ball hard, but J-Hay, easy play right there. One hopper.
John Jay comes up. He's got an infield hit. He's 1 for 4. He's hitting 3 straight games. Two outs, bases empty for the Cardinals center fielder. Strike 1. It's good to see Scahill. A lot of first pitch strikes.
Tell you what, he's been impressive. Command. Tough to hit.
And that one is through. Into left field for a 2-out base hit. And Jay with a big turnaround first base. So the Cardinals with 2 outs in the 10th have the potential winning run at first base.
Fastball away. Nice job of hitting. That wasn't a fastball. 86. Not exactly sure what that was. A changeup. Lambo hurries up, gets the ball in. That's what stops Jay. When you're an outfielder, as hard as John Jay was going around first there, if he sees you take an extra step or sees you kind of take your time, he's going to keep going. I mean, one way you stop a base runner is to get the ball and get it into the infield as quickly as you can. They'll see you throw it, and they'll put on the brakes.
Jay tried to swipe second in the first inning. Cervelli cut him down. And now Matt Carpenter is 1 for 3 with a walk. Dangerous customer at the plate. And it gets away briefly from Rodriguez, and Jay unable to move up.
Carpenter, doubles machine. You mentioned it earlier, leading the league in doubles. The Pirates trying to take away the doubles, and playing deep all the way around.
Carpenter also leads Major League Baseball in multi-hit games with 15. But just 1 tonight. So the first, and Jay gets back. Carpenter hit a .371. As a pitcher with nobody on, a lot different with a guy like Jay at first base who put a little pressure on him. They're keeping an eye on him. Carpenter takes a strike, 1-1. 1-1 to Matt Carpenter. 2 outs, bottom of the 10th. And Carpenter hits it down the left field side. That'll twist into the seats for strike 2. Well, we told you when we started this game a long time ago, John, about the 2 through 5 hitters. Those are the guys you needed to worry about. Tonight, combined 2 for 15. They've hit into 2 double plays. Struck out 5 times. So Pirates pitching has done a very good job limiting the 2 through 5 hitters. Strength of the Cardinal lineup.
Yeah, I tell you, they shut them down. Those guys are all scolding hot.
For the first.
Peeking down
first himself. Now set on the hill is Cahill. 1-2 to right field down the line. Jay's going to run. John Jay is going to be held at third, and in with his 14th double of the year is Matt Carpenter.
Another multi-hit game, another double. Look at that backdoor breaking ball. And he just smothers it. Just gets out there, gets around it, hooks it. Polanco does a nice job getting to it and getting it into the cutoff man. And that's why you play no doubles. That part of the deal with no doubles is you deepen up so the ball doesn't get to the wall. If the ball gets to the wall, the game's over. Polanco able to get over there before it gets to the wall, and Kendo was forced to hold up John Jay.
125th career double for Carpenter. The winning run is at third with 2 down in the bottom of the 10th. Ray Searage wants time, and the pitching coach for the Bucks will come out and visit with Cahill. Everybody was set for the pitch, and the home plate umpire Mike Michalewski had to wave his arms to get everybody's attention, tell them to stop. Now the infield will come in. What message is Ray bringing in here?
Well, they're, I'm sure, going to go over how to face Holiday here. You obviously have first base open. So maybe just a reminder, if you fall behind the count, you don't have to throw it right down the middle.
Well, yeah, pick your poison with first base open. Do you not pitch to Holiday, pitch to Adams, the big lefty?
Well, they're going to pitch to Holiday, but they're just going to be careful as they pitch to Holiday. And basically, he wanted to go over how they wanted to throw to Holiday. Oh, I take that back. Wow, shocked.
So they will walk Holiday. And Rob Cahill will pitch to Matt Adams with the ball game on the line.
It goes to show you the respect that Clint Hurdle has for Matt Holiday. You know, a guy that Clint was with in Colorado.
Holiday played for him there and came very close to winning the MVP in the National League in 2007 for Hurdle's team that went to the World Series. Jimmy Rollins would win it, I believe, that year. And there's the fourth wide one. Ball 4. Bases full of Cardinals for the first time tonight. Matt Adams hit a walk-off home run against the Pirates last year. It was on the 7th of July last year. Pirates actually were walked off on successive nights. Colton Wong did it the next night. And now Cahill to try to get Adams to make the final out of the 10th. Harrison, McCutchen, and Walker would be due up in the 11th for the Pirates. It's just missed. Cervelli wanted it. Did not get the call. Adams 0 for 4 tonight. This one's close.
Backdoor breaking ball. Where is it?
Wow.
corner.
That's one you want. And there's a strike, 1-1.
Again, I look at the shift, and as I was talking about it back in the inning they scored, the 7th inning, and you kind of worry about that grounder like to second base.
1-1, and this ball game is over. As Matt Adams' walk-off single gives the Cardinals a 2-1 win.
He's been hot, hotter than any of these Cardinals. Matt Adams, as you mentioned, 8 hits over the last 3 games.